Good morning. Welcome to Second Parish Unitarian Universalist. Thank you for choosing to come to church on this glorious morning. And I could say many happies. There are many things that we are celebrating, but I'm going to save that and do it throughout the service. But I just have to say Happy Father's Day. We have some pretty terrific fathers here, and of course the women who made them fathers. And I just want to say happy, happy, happy day to you. Are there any announcements that anyone would like to make? Peggy, come on up, please.
Morning. There are two opportunities for us to be together this summer when church is not in session. On July 4th, where we can gather at the end of the driveway at 6:30 in the morning to set up a water station and give out waters to some very grateful runners. We'll need people to help set up the tables, fill up thousands of cups, and I do mean thousands. We ran out last year. And then again, on July 14th, we have our annual picnic. Lots of great food, thanks to you guys, and fun for everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, Peggy. There will be more about the water table and station later in the homily. And also, I would just like to announce that Leadership Board will have a retreat at the beginning of August. So we'll be working for you. Pam?
Well, I do have an announcement on behalf of Bernie. Sandy Peavy's memorial service will be held on June 22nd at 1 o'clock at the Performing Arts Center. You can't hear me? At the Performing Arts Center at Linden Ponds. And come early because you will be shuttled from a parking lot to there, so give yourself enough time for that. Is that it, Bernie? Anything else? Okay. The other thing is that the survey that we've worked on all year and put together with the help of our consultant, Danielle, has been in the order of service last week and the last two weekly updates. I will have copies on the credenza. Please fill it out. It's important for us to hear your voices as we think about our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Any other announcements? I would just like to say that although we had New Member Sunday already, today Barbara will be signing the membership book. She was in Croatia, and when we did it here, and I thought about getting a plane for all of us to go over, but it just didn't work out. So Barbara, welcome to you as well as all the other people who have joined this year. If there are no other announcements, then our service will begin. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad, and the desert shall blossom like a rose. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice, even with singing. Today, on this flower communion, our flowers will represent many species, but we will remember that all worship is one. Our systems of faith may be different, but God is one. Let us share our different flowers of faith in testimony to all that we share. I'd like to invite you to sing the opening hymn in the Teal hymnal. It is number 1018, Come and Go With Me to That Land, in honor of Juneteenth. After a while, you won't need to hold the books at all. You'll just be able to sing out and maybe clap. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Come and go with me. 1018. Oh, of all the days to leave my tambourine in my study. Gosh. Well, Gayla, I think you win the clapping contest. So I'm going to invite you to come up here and light the chalice. You should have seen the hands in the air. Only. I even saw you after Lainey was moving around there in some sort of fashion. But as Gayla lights our chalice, let us say together the covenant of Second Parish, which you'll find in your order of service. With love for each other and with respect for each person's search for truth, we unite in the spirit of Jesus for the worship of God and the service of our neighbors. This is Flower Communion Sunday. We celebrate Flower Communion on our last Sunday of the quote-unquote church year. When I became a minister, all my friends who knew me as a teacher said, just like you, to get a job where you have the summer off. But as I have written in the weekly update to you, there are many reasons why we do not meet over the summer, but it is lovely today to celebrate the Flower Communion, which many of you know was created by Norbert Capek, in 1923, 101 years ago. And you may have noticed that the introit was a hymn by Norbert Capek, which Mark, I was very happy included. And Capek founded the Unitarian Universalist Church in Czechoslovakia, and he was seeking for a way to do communion that would not have any associations with prior religions or other religions, because he felt some people were turned off by certain other habits. And he came up with this idea of people either bringing a flower from their garden or from the side of the road or from wherever they could to make a bouquet that would symbolize all the individual flowers, would symbolize all the individual people coming together and making one beautiful bouquet, which is really what this service is all about. His wife, Maya, brought the custom of flower communion to the United States in 1940, and Unitarian Universalist churches celebrate this flower communion every year, generally on this particular day. So what we will do as we do the flower communion is I will invite you to come up as you can, and if you need somebody to carry your flower, please ask a neighbor. Or if you do not have a flower, there are flowers that Julie has provided in the vestibule that you may use. And place the flower in one of these vases. Julie will be arranging them as they come in, and then return to your seat. During the service, we'll be able to look at this bouquet and be symbolically reminded of how altogether we're a bouquet. I get to see you as a bouquet on Sunday, and now you'll get to see a representation of yourselves as a bouquet. And at the end of the service, everybody will take a different flower from the one they brought home, reminding you how you are part of everybody else, how we walk different pathways, but we create one beautiful whole. And when we give the kids a short break for a short Sunday adventures during the service, they're going to go outside and with sidewalk chalk, which I've discovered is hard to say. With sidewalk chalk, they're going to draw flowers on the food pantry ramp, which Sue Kiernan, who runs the food pantry, said to me, what a beautiful welcome for our clients to have those flowers. So as Mark plays the music, I invite you to come forward. There's no order to this in terms of rows. And if you would, Julie, if you want to come up to manage the bouquet being developed, and please place your flower in a vase. parish bouquet. What a second parish bouquet. Our vase overflows. How beautiful, and how beautifully representative of each of us contributing our own beauty to make this beautiful bouquet of community. Thank you all. And now I'd like to invite the children to come forward, and we're going to make another bouquet. Well, how is everybody? Hands up if you're out of school now. Excellent. Hands up if you're happy about it. You know, I bet sometime in your life you have played the game Statues. You know, where you freeze in position? Well, we're going to do something kind of like that, but I'm calling it bouquets. We're going to make a bouquet out of you for all the things that we're celebrating today. So the first thing I need two kind of tall volunteers. Kind of tall. Ah, good man. I got one. And is there another one? Maybe Nola? Okay. I'm going to ask you to represent Father's Day and Pride Month. So I want you to look strong. All right, yeah, there you go. Good. Okay, now we're going to have two people to represent Juneteenth, that wonderful day when news finally reached the slaves in Texas that they were free. And I need two people to come up and stand on either side of Nola and Sean and put your hands up like you're doing a touchdown. Who would like to do that? Who's going to? Molly, why don't you come up and be one of them? Anybody want to be the other one? Okay, come on up, Caroline. Oh, but would you stand next to Sean, please? And can you guys all take a step towards each other? Because it's like we're trying to put you into a vase, okay? So, all right, so Molly and Caroline, you put your hands over your head. Good, you're representing Juneteenth. And now we need people who represent all the personal celebrations of graduations and birthdays and anniversaries and even memorials, because if you go to Sandy's memorial on Saturday, you're going to have a celebration of a wonderful life. So how about the rest of you, would you just come and stand in front of these other members of the bouquet? If you want to kneel, you can. And if you want to just look at it, that's good too. Okay, so the Pride Month has their hands up. That's Molly and Caroline. You have your hands up. And Sean and Nola are looking strong. And all the representatives of birthdays are smiling as big as they can. And now, boy, this is a big vase. And now, because it's our last Sunday, we're going to become a waving bouquet. Can you wave goodbye to the people? All right. Well, now that is just beautiful. A little round of applause for our bouquet. And you can sit down, and all the things that we celebrate here have been shown in that little bouquet, but we're really not all done yet. Sean, you got to stand up again. Sean's leaving us. He's going to go to college. Who ever heard of such a thing? He could have stayed here and been our teaching assistant for years and years and years, because heaven knows, Sean, you've been a terrific one. And you've always been aware of helping and doing things when I just threw them at you, and taking care of the kids and looking out for what they need. So I'm going to ask Lynn and Robin to make a presentation to Sean, something that we think will help him in college. And we want to say how very grateful we are for all that you are to Second Parish and always will be, Sean.
Sean, it's a sad day that you're leaving us, but we hope you have wonderful adventures in college, and we have a little something for you, and you're truly going to be missed. Here you go.
And you have to take it out of the bag, but go ahead.
Swag.
Ah. Robin, did you want to say something? Okay. Wear it in good health. And think of us when you do. And because, dear children, we have enjoyed you so much this year, we've got a little something special for you. It involves a place in Norwell where you can get ice cream cones. Hornstra's Farm. And we have a coupon for a free ice cream cone at Hornstra's. You're going to have to drag your parents there. I know. And when you eat that ice cream cone, you just remember how much fun Sunday Adventures is, okay?
Just like when we went to picture of life and we had to Hornsdale Farms and we got to see the animals.
You got to see the animals at Hornstra's Farm? Were there giraffes? No? What kind of animals did they have?
Only cows.
They only had cows. And horses too. That's pretty cool. How many of you have been to Hornstra's? Wow, a lot of people. Well, there we are. Boy, we're just celebrating our heads off today, aren't we? And now we're going to go outside and probably, maybe, Gayla, I'm going to ask you to go get the kids back for the closing hymn, okay? Because we're going to have you come back because we want you to be part of when we take this beautiful bouquet apart and take a piece of it home, okay? So let's sing you out. Oh, air high fives. Go. Of course, I should have had them give the cards to their grown-up before they went outside. So sorry. That's all right. Well, they don't have names on them, so you'll be all set. Our responsive reading has been selected in honor of Juneteenth and what it means and what it meant for America to look at its racial problem and what it meant specifically when slavery was ended. And it is taken from Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail. Your part is in bold-faced italics. I am cognizant of the interrelatedness of all communities and states. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. As we listen to the solo, I invite you to write down a joy or concern if you would like to have it shared. And there are cards in the pews for that purpose. Susanna?
Tree.
If you have a joy or a sorrow, would you please hold it up? The ushers will collect them, and then we will share them together. What a joy it is to have all of these things to celebrate today. Thank you. Thank you, Rich. Thanks. Okay. Well, we are full of joys today. It is a joy to be here on this beautiful Father's Day with my favorite people. Thank you. We miss you all. We'll miss you all this summer. Enjoy. Thank you to Reverend Danielle and Reverend Ken for your kindness and support to Second Parish this year. So appreciated. Thank you indeed. Machiavelli, the Puma puppy, comes home next Saturday. Now, Danielle, who would have written that? Machiavelli. What a joy to see Rev Steph on this beautiful day. A joy to see you too. It was a joy to bring a daisy for my mom in Tennessee for 2 reasons. So she could be part of today's service, and because my dad wore a daisy at my wedding as well. I miss you, Dad. Happy Father's Day. Veronica, your mom is a part of this church as I've never seen. She lives in Tennessee, but she watches us faithfully and emails me, and what a great lady, and your dad was quite a fine man. Thank you. It's a joy for school to be over for the summer and to take a break from reality next week in Punta Cana, praying for safe travels. Well, yes, let's pray for that. Excellent, have fun. A joy. I feel especially grateful today that I am married to a wonderful man who is also the most loving and patient father, providing a truly wonderful example to our boys. Well, that could be any one of you. Thank you. Oh, a joy to see Stephanie back. A joy for the flowers we do not lack. A joy to be part of the pack. I love ending with a poet. Well, what fine joys. What fine joys. And of course, we hold them with concerns for all the things that are in difficulty in the world. But with our sense of joy, we know that we can hope and work our way through. And may we do so. I invite you now to sing Spirit of Life, and then we will have a silent meditation. And of course, we will have the pastoral prayer before the silent meditation. Spirit of life, known by many names, held in many hands, served by many hearts. We are grateful for the beautiful bouquet of blessings in our lives. And even as we know sorrow and concerns, the illnesses, the losses, the disappointments that haunt us, we see how they make our blessings shine more brightly. We are grateful for the courage and the faith to ever look up in hope, to look out in faith, to look inward with trust that we will find the meaning to wrap all of our days, all of our feelings, all of our thoughts in love. It is hard work, this being human. May we remember we are part of something larger than our own understanding, something beyond our own vision. May we meet each other. May we meet all the forces of nature with respect and appreciation so that we may find the strength and the grace to know our place in this amazing world. Welcomed into the silence by the bell, let us now reflect or pray on all that is our life. And now let us say together the Lord's Prayer from the New Zealand Prayer Book, which you will find in your order of service. Eternal Spirit, Earth Maker, Pain Bearer, Life Giver, Source of all that is and that shall be, Father and Mother of us all, loving God, in whom is heaven, the hallowing of your name echoes through the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the earth. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope and come on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In times of temptation and test, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forever. Amen. Last week was our second Sunday offering, and we have collected a substantial amount of money to donate to the Elizabeth Rose Olson Fund. Thank you for that. This week, our offering goes towards the work and the mission of this church. As you give your treasure and your time and your talent, we are grateful for your support. And I invite you, as the offering is taken, to think of all the things that you do give in so many ways to make this bouquet of our lives so beautiful. The morning offering will now be taken.
For the
don't know if I ever explained to you that the word doxology means a song of praise. And as we come forward with the morning offering, we'll be singing new words to the doxology that Mark found especially for flower communion. So I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing these new words to a familiar tune of the Old Hundredth. And later you can tell me what you think of them, okay? Please be seated. Our reading this morning comes from Elisabeth Kubler-Ross. Many of you will recognize her name as that of the author of the book on death and dying. In explaining and exploring the stages of grief, Kubler-Ross really taught us a great deal about how to comprehend life. And I think this message is very important. She writes, "I've never met a person whose greatest need was anything other than real, unconditional love. You can find it in a simple act of kindness towards someone who needs help. There's no mistaking love. It is the common fiber of life, the flame that heats our soul, energizes our spirit, and supplies passion to our lives." So the last Sunday before a summer break feels a little bit like the last day of school. Everybody's just waiting to bust out. I mean, I'm sure you'll go to coffee hour. I'm sure we'll have good conversations there. But, really, it's like, there's going to be a change. There's going to be a break. And it feels pretty good. And in this service, we've had quite a bouquet of things that we celebrate. Of course, the flower communion with the flowers and the ceremony and the music. In our centering thought, you will see Umberto Eco's quotation about the little scraps of wisdom that contribute to what our fathers teach us. And they're like bouquets too, aren't they? Those little things that we just sort of absorb for good or for ill, and it becomes who we are. In Martin Luther King's responsive reading, a reference to the network of mutuality refers to the justice in our community and expresses the joy of liberation for Pride Month and for Juneteenth. And then Kubler-Ross, speaking of the common fiber of life being love, acknowledges all those personal celebrations that seem to fall in June. And on top of that, we have the best wishes for a wonderful summer that everybody's experiencing. This service is always kind of a difficult one for ministers because there's so much to celebrate. And usually we like to focus on one thing. I guess I took the coward's way out and I made the focus the bouquet. But I think that's a wonderful thing that we have so much to celebrate. And I know that usually on this last summer, I give you something to think about. I give you something I want you to do over the summer. And I've had many discussions about this with Lee. And finally this year, Lee put her foot down. And she said, "No, Stephanie, we're not giving the kids a Serenity Path passport. We're not giving them anything." She told me I was too accustomed to giving summer reading when I taught high school. And I just had to let the kids relax and enjoy themselves because they're overscheduled and overburdened as it is. And she's right for the kids. But for you, I can't help it. I have to tell you what I'm hoping you'll be thinking of doing this summer. And, usually I tell you, go out and explore your faith. Go into nature. Go into another church. Go into a good book or an art museum or a concert. But today I'm going to ask you to do something that is more in the spirit of summer, more in the spirit of let's just do something fun. And it is something that I think contributes to the bouquet that we've been celebrating this morning, and that is I'm going to ask you to explore what, as you see from the homily title, I've called pop-up kindness. Those are things that you already do, and you do them all the time. But in the summertime, I'm just asking you to perhaps think a little bit more about when it is that you do them and how it is that you do them. Now, I use the term pop-up kindness. I don't know if that's original or not, but it came to me because I was thinking of those pop-up stores before Christmas, before Halloween, that just sell, for certain merchandise for a certain holiday, and then they're gone. So they're just something we do once and it's over. And pop-up kindness is usually somewhat spontaneous, or if it's planned, it's rather quickly planned. And you do it just to be nice. For example, I know when I come down Main Street to come to Second Parish, and I get to the church, and I put on my left blinker, and I look at all the cars going south on Route 228, and I think, well, gee, I can write a sermon while I've got my blinker on here. And then all of a sudden, somebody will flash their car lights and let me go through. That's an act of pop-up kindness. Or perhaps it's happened to you, you're in a drive-in, maybe getting a cup of coffee or something, and you get up to the window and they hand you the coffee and they say, oh, the person in front of you paid for that. I don't know the person in the car in front of me, but wasn't that a nice thing to do? And then maybe you turn around and do it yourself. Or perhaps you're in the store, and this has happened to me when I was not getting my groceries delivered, because I'm somewhat tall. I would be going down an aisle and I'd see somebody trying to reach something that's way back on the top shelf. And it was no problem to go over and say, hey, may I help you, and get the item. And sometimes it happens people are trying to get something on the bottom shelf, and if you're not feeling too limber, you need a little help. But if you will come along and you're feeling limber, or you've got your children or grandchildren with you, you say to them, come on, help this lady. That's it. Those are the simple acts of pop-up kindness. And sometimes they take a little more time. I have gotten into this routine with Molly and Caleb, whom live next door to me. When they come over to visit in the afternoon, as they do sometimes, I will ask them, would you go get my mail? And they like to do that, so that's nice. Well, the other day, they were over, and Caleb suddenly went out the door. I hadn't said anything to him, and I thought, where is he going? And I looked out. He, without being asked, went to get my mail for me, just because he wanted to be kind. Sometimes our pop-up kindness is we visit somebody we know is alone and perhaps wanting to have company. So there's lots of ways that we can do pop-up kindness. And I was thinking about today's service, and I thought, if they're all in the mood for the last day of school, we really should have a field day, but I didn't get a chance to arrange that for you. So I thought what I'd do is I would tell you a story about an act of pop-up kindness that happened here. So many happen here. But this is one that I think is pretty neat. And it involves the 4th of July marathon. Now, there's, everybody remembers things differently, but essentially it started with a conversation in Cushing Hall about what might membership do to, get people doing something to help the community. And I think it was Pam said, how about we get water for the runners of the 4th of July? And the idea just took off. Peggy's a runner, and she was saying, oh, yeah, that'd be a great thing. Lisa was into it. People were saying, oh, yes, that's a wonderful thing. Let's do that. That would be a pop-up act of kindness, because we're not going to put a water table out there in front of Second Parish for the whole summer. We're just going to do it on this one day. And the plan was made to meet between 6:30 in the morning and 7 and get the table set up, just as Peggy described it. And I was thinking to myself, well, I really ought to go to this. I really ought to see how this pop-up kindness works. And I'll be real honest with you. I got up at 4:45 for years when I was teaching, so I'm not into getting up early anymore. But I got up early, and I'm driving down Main Street, and I'm thinking, it's 6:30, and wow, I don't see many places where anybody's ready to give water to these runners. I pulled into Second Parish, and what a team. Eventually, 8 people showed up. And kind, they had already gotten a chair for me to sit in so that I was just parked at the end of the driveway. And they had set up tables and all these cups with pitchers and nicely poured amounts of water. And it looked so good. And then Lisa said, we have to have Starburst. And I, of course, I can't walk and chew gum. And I'm thinking, how can you run a marathon and have a Starburst in your mouth? But she said, no, this is what my running friends tell me is good. And then she said, and we have to unwrap the Starburst. And Lisa, you didn't see it, but boy, did I roll my eyes at that because I'm thinking, oh, come on. But in fact, she was right. And what happened was eventually, my job was easy. I just had to sit there and I had to clap and I had to make eye contact and make, dad joke comments to people that just made them run faster down Main Street. And while I was busy doing that, the 7 other people were ready to give out the water. And the first runners come down Main Street, they're gone. Second runners come down Main Street, and you would have thought we were a magnet. All of a sudden, it felt like thousands of people came to the table. And of course, here we are with our cute little cups and our cute little pitchers trying to pass them out. And these people just, they want the water. And then, did they want those Starbursts? And, I shouldn't say this, it's almost like a form of communion. Lisa's throwing the Starbursts into people's mouths. And then the runners would discard the cups, and so part of our crew was, picking them up. And I was just vaguely aware that they were overwhelmed because we had so many runners needing water and not enough cups. Next thing I became aware of was people running back and forth. They must have scoured every cabinet in our kitchen here for disposable cups. I think if there'd been fancy teacups, they would have taken them and put the water in them too. I think they probably went up to the children's room and looked to see if there were any cups. And they're running back and forth. And finally, somebody hooked up the hose and brought the hose instead of these pitchers and vases full of water. And it was enough, and we were able to provide the water. But it was a madhouse for a little while there. And when the final runner went by, of course, we all applauded and we all congratulated that person. And then there was this collective sigh, as that police car goes by and we're done. We've given out all the water. Collective sigh of relief and a silence. And then I heard the phrase that I had been hoping to hear. Somebody said, well, when we do this next year, and already, I think, Peggy, you've probably ordered 1 million cups of for out there, and the hose will be hooked up, and Lisa's probably already started unwrapping the Starburst. I don't know. But we learned how to do it. The great thing was, it was such a spontaneous event for us, and it was something we thought would be nice to do, but these runners really needed this water. And so we felt good, they felt hydrated, and it made just a great feeling. And when I heard that phrase, next year when we do this, I thought, there is a sermon in how things start as pop-up kindness, and then they become tradition, and then they become institutionalized. But I'm saving that sermon, because that's not a sermon for the last day of school. That's something for later on. I just wanted to tell you that story because I want you to be thinking this summer of all those times you do things that are nice, that you don't have to do, and you do them, and you feel good, and somebody else feels good. All those things contribute to making things a little bit kinder. And we need that. In our fractured, divided society, there are all sorts of institutional ways we can solve things, but boy, it really starts with our just being kind in this little pop-up kindness way to each other. And truly, in the spirit of the last day of school, I'm now going to quote Dolly Parton. And Dolly Parton has this wonderful thing she says, which is, if you see somebody without a smile, give them one of yours. Easy and happy, and an act of pop-up kindness that I think will make you feel what I hope you get here at church. is with you all the time throughout the summer. So please, my message for you today is practice pop-up kindness, and let's just see where it leads. Now let us sing our closing hymn, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. Thanks, Gail. I can hear the children, so I think they're ready to come in. And I invite everybody to stand as you are willing and able to sing hymn number 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. Please be seated. Children, did you have fun? Okay, you want to join your parents or your grandmother? Why don't you go back to your family? Because what we're going to do now is I will say the benediction, and then I will invite you to come forward and get a different flower from the one you brought, from the flower bouquet, from Flower Communion. And Mark will be playing the postlude. Now, if you feel it makes sense for you and your family to keep going on into Cushing Hall, do that. And if you want to sit and listen to the postlude, you're welcome to do that too. So let me give you this as a benediction, and then we will start, in no particular order, coming forward to take a flower. May your summer be filled with bouquets of spontaneous celebration, acts of kindness, hearts and words of love. The full benediction for this service rests in your coming forward to take a flower from our communion bouquet as a gesture of taking this place, these people, and this purpose into the next 2 months. And may we carry each other in our hearts till we meet again. Amen.